Jambo, Salam Alaikum, Namaste, and Sasrikal. Today, in Ammijaan'skitchen, kitchen, I think he's the hero, but this is my grandson George, Jacob and Caitlin's little guy, and he's just 6 months old, and oh my goodness, look at him go! Doesn't it just melt your heart? So we are going to be making, right George, chocolate chip condensed milk cookies, and normally these cookies are made out of plain condensed milk, but we're going to go all out and use caramel condensed milk, only because we didn't have the plain one, right George? And he's not quite ready for chocolate chips, but we'll have to air it again when he can eat the cookies with the cookie. So let's all come back. Actually, let's do the ingredient introduction with George. Why not? So we have caramel condensed milk. Like I said, I didn't have the plain one. Normally you would use plain, but this is caramel. And margarine, chocolate chips, flour, right George? And can you believe it? Even with the condensed milk, there's sugar. So you can reduce this. We'll play with it and see. So first thing we're going to do, I know, isn't he awesome, my grandson? Yes, we could talk about him all day, but let's do this. So we're going to beat, you can hear him. Let's beat the margarine. Now normally you can use a food processor or you can use a hand mixer, but you know, just today I thought we'll just do this. It's already softened, so it shouldn't take too long. It says beat, so obviously you could take it, like I said, with a processor. And in the meantime, the oven is preheating. This is a typical old English recipe that my mother-in-law gave me the book. So I've always used it, especially when the kids were little. It's very nice and rich. It's the condensed milk obviously makes it nice and rich. So mine might not be as well beaten as yours would be if you use a mixer, but I don't think that's it's going to matter. So we're going to add the sugar. So here we are. I beat it up a little bit more, and this recipe does not need eggs. So the sugar will go in, but what I did forget earlier, and Jacob reminded me, is baking powder. Being that it's a typical English recipe, they tend to use self-rising flour, so I almost have to make a note to remember baking powder. So we've got a baking powder here as well, and salt, and of course we're just going to chuck that in there, mix it up. Okay, and going back to what we were doing already is the sugar. Let's put that in and mix it up a little bit more. Hey George! So we've been whipping this up with the sugar, and another thing I wanted to mention is we've got the oven at 350 with parchment paper lined already on a cookie baking sheet, you know, the usual that you would do. So we're going to start adding the flour. I have put that baking powder in there, and there we are, a little bit at a time with condensed milk. Let's say it's about a couple of tablespoons. We've got double the batch here. Personally, I just go and decide. So when we figure it out, we'll write the recipe out for you, and then you know. So we're just mixing it all up. It comes nice and brown. I've never done this before. Like I said, this time I didn't have the regular condensed milk. These are really good around Christmas. You can pack them up and give them out as gifts. So a little bit of chocolate chip. So we're doing it in like 3: flour, chocolate chip, condensed milk, and keep mixing it. Okay, so here we are. We've got the dough all set up, the chocolate chip, the condensed milk, and now remember again, I know I said that before, the dough is brown because we used caramel condensed milk. So actually this was because we had nothing else, but I think we've discovered a new recipe. So we're just going to take, you know, typical cookie size amount and shape them. I'll just show you a few and you have an idea. I'm sure everybody has done it. Hey! Okay, and okay, there, that's it. And in the oven, we'll put down on the recipe how long and time, and basically just like a peanut butter cookie. Then you can have some cookie dough. Not quite yet, darling. I think Mom and Dad won't be too pleased if I do that. Well, we're going to say bye. Please like and subscribe on Ammijaan'skitchen. And we'd love to see you again. George, you're going to say bye? Say bye-bye.